Another week of Premier League football means another Premier League prediction video. And you know what? Last week we did better than the first time we did it, but there's still a lot of room for improvement. There's some very, very nice and tight and interesting games that are going to be played this weekend. So let's waste no time and jump straight into it with a Friday night kickoff between Leicester and Brentford. Now, as I've expected, Leicester lost to Arsenal in their last game, but they did do a very good job, and it took Arsenal 2 goals in the last 10 minutes to get the win. So fair play to Leicester, they made it hard, but it wasn't enough, and they still sit 1 place from the bottom, 2 points from safety. Now, Leicester now have lost the last 3 matches, and they haven't actually won a home game in the Premier League since the 3rd of December, so I don't really have much confidence in them going into this game. They also haven't kept a clean sheet in 21 matches, and to be honest, I can't see him keeping a clean sheet here either. Now, Brentford did well in their last game to beat West Ham away, where I actually had West Ham to win, so fair play to Brentford. And that now puts Brentford in 11th place, just 3 points off the top half of the table. Now, Brentford have scored 5 goals in the last 5 games, and I can really see them adding at least 2 here, because Leicester do concede a lot of goals. But then again, Brentford do concede a lot of goals as well, so maybe both teams to score is a safe bet here. Even with Leicester being at home, I just can't see them getting anything in this game. They might get a draw if they're lucky, but I'm going to back Brentford here, and I'm going to say 2-1. Moving on to the Saturday early kickoff, and this is an absolutely massive game because David Moyes and Everton take on Manchester United, and of course Moyes left Everton to join United all those years ago. Now, after an amazing last-minute draw in the final Goodison Park derby with Liverpool, Everton took on Crystal Palace last weekend where I had a draw, but Everton came out on top, and actually, after a pretty interesting game, to be fair, it's actually an interesting game to watch. They came out on top 2-1, which now means that Everton are in 14th place, 13 points from the bottom 3. They are also actually above Manchester United, and if they beat them this weekend, then there would be a 4-point gap between the 2 clubs. Now, Everton have been banging in goals since David Moyes have took over, and they've scored 9 in the last 5 games. Having already beaten Spurs at home since Moyes took over, and now a draw against Liverpool, I think Everton should be full of confidence going into this one, and you know what, I'm pretty confident they can get a result here. Man United lost to Spurs last weekend, and to be honest, I really thought Man United was going to do it. I literally said in the video, Man United are going to get Ange Postecoglou sacked, and yeah, I had a Man United 3-2 result in that game, and the game was just boring. It was 1-0, they lost, and now they've only lost, they've lost 3 of the last 5 Premier League matches, so it's not looking too good for United. To be fair to United, though, they have had a lot of injury problems. I mean, their bench against Spurs was literally just all kids. They've got a lot of players injured, so they are going to struggle again this weekend. With Everton being at home, I'm going to back Everton this week. I'm actually going to back Everton to beat Man United. It is going to be close. Both teams are going to score, like I said, but I am going to give it to Everton, and I'm going to say 2-1. Moving on to Bournemouth versus Wolves, and Bournemouth could actually break into the top 4 if results go their way this weekend. They beat Southampton away 3-1 in the last match, which is very annoying for me because I had Bournemouth to win 3-0. But they did rightfully batter Southampton like I said they would. Now, Wolves took on Liverpool at Anfield, and to be honest, I said they were going to lose 3-0, but they were actually really, really unlucky not to get a draw because the second half, Liverpool weren't that good. Wolves were on top, and they could have quite easily got a draw. However, they are still outside the bottom 3 by 2 points just, and I think they're very lucky the bottom 3 have hard games this weekend because I can't see Wolves winning, especially with Bournemouth being at home. I'm going to back Bournemouth here just because, you have to, because they've been absolutely amazing this season, and I'm going to go for a 2-0 win. Moving on to an interesting London game between Fulham and Crystal Palace. Now, Fulham actually shocked me in the last game because they hosted Nottingham Forest, and I actually thought they were going to lose, but they did come out on top 2-1, now sitting in the top half of the Premier League table. Fulham have scored 8 goals in the last 5 matches, but they do also like to concede a lot of goals. Crystal Palace, on the other hand, they took on Everton at home last weekend, and to be honest, it was a little bit disappointing, and they lost 2-1. They do sit pretty comfortably in mid-table like they do every season. I mean, Crystal Palace just somehow managed to just be right there in the middle of the table every season. They've scored 8 goals in 5 matches as well. But again, they also do concede a lot of goals. Now, Fulham haven't lost to Crystal Palace in their last 6 matches against them, and I think they're going to continue that streak, and I think they're going to make it 7. I think both teams are going to score. We could see goals flying in, but I am going to give it to Fulham, and I'm going to say 3-1. Moving on to a massive game for Ipswich as they host Spurs. Now, Ipswich actually beat Spurs away, which was a massive win for them considering they've only won 3 games all season, so they'll be hoping to do the double over Spurs here. However, they have got a lot of injuries. They've got 13 players out, and a lot of them are key starting players. Now, in the last match, I thought they were going to get absolutely battered against Villa at Villa Park, but they actually ended up taking a draw, which isn't a bad result, especially considering they played the whole second half with just 10 men. They have scored 7 in their last 5 matches, so they are averaging over a goal a game, but the problem is they haven't kept a clean sheet in 6. Spurs, of course, Man United in the last match, which I personally didn't think they were going to do, and they now sit in 12th place. Of course, we all know about Spurs' injury list, but Son could actually make a return this weekend, and if he does, he's going to be a massive player for Spurs. I do think Ipswich will score because Spurs do like to concede goals. And being at home, I think the fans will create a bit of an atmosphere and carry Ipswich a little bit. But I still think Spurs will win. If Son is back, then he's going to cause Ipswich a lot of trouble. You know, he's going to want to prove his point. He's been out for a while. He's going to want to come back and make a bit of noise and, you know, show people he's back. So I'm going to say Spurs and I'm going to say 3-1. Moving on to the so-called South Coast derby between Southampton and Brighton. Now, Southampton were hoping to achieve back-to-back wins in the Premier League for the first time since September 2022, but they got battered at home against Bournemouth 3-1. They are still bottom of the table, 10 points from safety, and they are still on track to get the lowest ever points record in the Premier League. They have scored 6 goals in the last 5, so they're scoring goals, but they haven't kept a clean sheet in 6 matches. They've also only took 4 points out of a possible 36 from home matches this season, and I cannot see them adding to it here. Brighton absolutely pumped Chelsea 3-0 on Friday Night Football last week, and to be honest, Chelsea were absolutely awful, with Enzo Maresca saying that was the worst performance since he's took over. Brighton are now in the top half of the table in 10th place, and they're only 6 points from the top 6, so they're slowly creeping up. They have scored 8 goals in the last 5 matches, but they can also concede a lot of goals. However, they haven't lost to Southampton in their last 6 matches, and I think they're going to add to that here. I do think Southampton will score, but it's not going to be enough for a Brighton team full of confidence especially. And I'm going to go for a Brighton win, and I'm going to say 2-1. Moving on to the 5:30 kickoff between Aston Villa and Chelsea, and this could be a really interesting one. Villa took on Liverpool in the last match, drawing 2-2, and were very, very unlucky after having a late winner disallowed, but they do sit in 9th place, just 5 points from the top 4. They have scored 9 goals in the last 5 matches, but they haven't kept a clean sheet in 8, which is unusual because Villa and Martinez, and their defence in general usually are pretty solid at the back, especially at Villa Park. Chelsea, of course, got battered 3-0 away to Brighton in the last match, like we said, and another massive injury blow again for Chelsea as Madueke was took off after 20 minutes, meaning they've now got 9 key players injured. Chelsea are slowly dropping down the table. You know, they were 2nd place for so long. They started the season off really well, but they're now in 6th place after an awful run of form. They are scoring goals and have scored 7 in the last 5, but they haven't kept a clean sheet in 8 matches. So again, they're another team that likes to concede goals. With Villa being at Villa Park, it's always hard to bet against them, and I don't think I'm going to bet against them here either. Rashford has looked very good for Villa since he joined. You know, he basically created a goal against Liverpool. He almost scored against Ipswich, and he might get his first goal for the club here. I'm going to go for a sneaky Villa win. I think Villa Park will drag him over the line, and I'm going to say 2-1. Moving on to a massive game in like the kind of top 6, I guess, between Newcastle and Nottingham Forest, 2 massively high-flying clubs. Now, Newcastle got pumped 4-0 away to Man City last weekend in the game that I actually predicted to finish 2-2. Newcastle were absolutely awful in the first half and were 3-0 down after just 34 minutes thanks to a hat-trick by Man City's new signing, Omar Mamouche. It was a very unusual result by Newcastle. You know, they don't get pumped like that too often, and I'm sure it's just a one-off, and they'll be looking to return to form here at home. They have scored 9 goals in their last 5 matches, and they have got a good record against Forest, winning their last 3 matches. Forest travelled to Fulham in the last match and lost 2-1, but they do still sit in 3rd place after having an absolutely incredible season so far. They've scored 13 goals in their last 5 matches. Of course, they pumped Brighton 7-0, and have also kept the most clean sheets in the league with 10, so they are very, very hard to break down. It is very hard to bet against Newcastle United at home. Again, they're one of those teams where at home they just always seem to find a way, and they are going to score. But I also think Nottingham Forest will score as well. And honestly, this game could be full of goals. I had Newcastle to draw last weekend against Man City, and I was miles off. I was absolutely wrong. But I do think I'm going to do the same here again with the exact same scoreline, and I'm going to say a 2-2 draw. Moving on to the final game of the Premier League weekend, and definitely the biggest game of the weekend, between Manchester City and Liverpool. Now, Manchester City come into this one, like I said, beating Newcastle 4-0 in their last Premier League match. But since then, they got battered 3-1 by Real Madrid to crash out of the Champions League, and that's really going to hurt them. They do sit in 4th place, and let's be honest, they're not going to win the Premier League. And the only chance they've got now of winning a cup is the FA Cup. Despite their terrible run of form early in the season, they are still 3rd in the table when it comes to home games, and they have scored 10 goals in their last 5 matches. Liverpool have also scored 10 goals in their last 5 matches and come into this game on the back of a 2-2 draw with Aston Villa, where, like I said, they were very lucky. They could have quite easily lost that game, but they were saved by VAR after a late Villa winner. Salah still continues to bang goals in and has got 24 goals this season, 5 goals more than Erling Haaland in 2nd place. Now, Gakpo is out until late March, but Liverpool have got enough good players in and around the squad to still be able to get results, and I'm going to be honest, I can really see Liverpool winning here. I think this has got the potential to be a really good game full of goals, and I'm going to back Liverpool to win in a 3-2 win. Now, guys, they are my predictions for this week's round of Premier League fixtures. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you disagree with the scoreline? Do you disagree with the result? Let me know what you guys think and we can have a discussion about it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for taking the time out your day to watch this video. If you did, then smash that like button, comment and subscribe to the channel. We are very close to 200 subs. Let's get there. But yeah, basically, thanks for watching this video. If you want to check out the other prediction videos that I've done, the link to the description, well, the link will be in the description to the Premier League kind of playlist where you can see all the other Premier League videos I've done in there, or like I said, just watch the Premier League prediction. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you stick around, I promise. You won't regret it.